Okay, Apple just wrapped up their Scary Fast event. We saw the M3 chip, the M3 Pro, the M3 Max, as well as new MacBook Pros, and even a new collection of iMacs, which honestly is quite a lot for Apple to drop basically at the end of the year. Let's start off with the new MacBook Pros. Guys, there is a new Space Black color that Apple announced. It's got an all new coating on here that Apple has not put on any computer before. It's distinct from any other black color Apple has done because they've fused something in a way that they say is more fingerprint resistant. I know that was a big complaint with the Midnight MacBook Airs that looked great, but admittedly kind of bad after you touched them. We haven't seen any real life images of this computer that anybody's actually touched, but Apple made it a point to say Space Black is here, and I hate that is the reason that I'd like to buy this MacBook Pro, and maybe I've ordered it. You know, who could say? And the perfect complement to any of these new Macs is the Opera browser, who actually sponsored today's video. First things first, Opera is lightning quick and it has a sick interface that is fun and efficient to use. They've invented these things called tab islands, which group websites together contextually, so it's effortless to find exactly what you're looking for. So if you're browsing Airbnb and looking at a ton of different listings for your next trip, the tabs all stay huddled next to each other in the island, and you can collapse or expand them on demand, which is amazing. Like, why has nobody else thought of this before? I also love the rest of the browser's design being modular and ready for AI with a new tech stack, which makes sure animations run smoothly without interruption. And as an Apple fan, it's the small touches like this that make a big difference for me. Then there's Aria, the completely free browser AI with live web access that is directly integrated into the sidebar. Or you can just press Command + / and ask whatever you'd like and get an intelligent response, which is useful, you know, for pretty much anything. The sidebar, by the way, provides quick access to your favorite messaging or social media apps, so it's super handy to have them right there when you need them. Really, Opera is the most innovative browser that I've used, and it makes using the internet so efficient. So click the link in the description to download Opera today. I've had such a good time using it, and a huge thank you to Opera for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to the rest of what's happened at the event. Now, of course, the main upgrade for this computer, though, are the new M3 chips that Apple is offering inside. There's M3, M3 Pro, and M3 Max now. And rather than getting super technical in this video, I just want to tell you a couple things. Number one, these are really impressive. They're based off of a new 3nm architecture, which means they are smaller in size physically, but they are significantly more powerful. Second, the Mac now has ray tracing with M3. Apple has added this on the entire new series of chips because the GPU is significantly faster than before, and definitely a larger upgrade on M3 than these CPUs. And while this doesn't mean that the Mac is now technically a gaming computer, it is by far the closest we've ever been. Apple seems to be doubling down on gaming slowly but surely. At the iPhone 15 event, at this event, they were talking about it a bit as well. So if you've ever wanted to play games on your Mac, there has never been a better time. This has been a common feature on PCs forever, but the Mac is starting to catch up. But the biggest takeaway for me is that with the M3 chip, the efficiency is just insane. Like Apple's performance per watt, which essentially means how much you can do per unit of power. I think that makes sense. It's basically way better than anything you see in PCs, and it's crazy for the performance you are getting out of these. TLDR, the battery life is really good on these computers. It's about the same as what we saw on the M2 series, but with the performance increase, which we're going to jump into specifically, it's actually pretty impressive. Here are the specs for the M3 series, starting off with the standard M3 chip. It's an 8-core CPU, 10-core GPU, and you can get up to 24 gigabytes of unified memory. Moving on to the M3 Pro, we go up to a 12-core CPU and an 18-core GPU with up to 36 gigabytes of RAM, and the M3 Max absolutely blowing those out of the water, a 16-core CPU, 40-core GPU, and 128 gigs of RAM. You can now put 128 gigabytes of RAM in your MacBook Pro. It was 96 on the M2, and I believe around 48-ish on the M1 series. So Apple has just been going absolutely bananas with the M3 lineup. And if you want the most power, like the M3 Max is where it's at. And I say that because while the performance gains over the M2 chip of about 15 to 20% are pretty impressive on the M3 and M3 Pro options, in some cases, the M3 Max is 50% faster than the M2, which generation over generation is a massive leap forward. And again, a lot of those scenarios have to do with the upgraded GPU architecture, which of course again supports ray tracing. Admittedly, because we just got new MacBook Pros at the very beginning of 2023, visually they look pretty similar. In fact, same ports, we've got 3 USB-C, HDMI remains, same SD-XC card slot, but the screen is just a little bit better. Apple's made improvements so that when you're viewing non-HDR content, I think it's about 30% brighter than on the M2 and M1 series of MacBook Pros, so the best screen in the game got even better. But maybe the real story of the M3 MacBook Pro series is the M3 version of the new MacBook Pro. You can now get the standard chip inside of the new MacBook Pro design. Previously, that was limited to the Touch Bar version. Apple has gotten rid of that, and you can now get it for $1,600 in the MacBook Pro. $1,600 includes the 120 hertz ProMotion screen that is so good on these MacBook Pros. So $1,600 that's a really good deal for the MacBook Pro, and I think that price point is going to be killer for Apple. Oh, and the M3 and M3 Pro versions of these computers, they ship basically immediately. They're going to be arriving next week, but the M3 Max variant, Apple is not shipping that until later in November, about 2 or 3 weeks from now. So you probably want to get your order in as soon as you can. The second big computer update that Apple did was for the 24-inch iMac, which you guys know we were talking about ahead of time here on AppleTrack. Now, the computer itself, it is absolutely one-to-one identical with the M1 model from 2021 in aesthetics. It looks like the exact same colors, the exact same finishes, same aluminum super thin housing, and even the same accessories. Apple, even though USB-C is the standard now, they still are shipping Lightning accessories with these iMacs. Why? Why is Apple shipping a Lightning cable with a new M3 computer when the iPhone doesn't use Lightning anymore? What are we doing here, guys? This is my biggest criticism of the event. That's such an obvious miss. It's just such an obvious miss. Regardless, with the new iMac, you do get the standard M3 chip inside, no M3 Pro or Max options because this is technically Apple's lowest end, cheapest desktop. You're getting the similar performance as in the MacBook Pro, just in the iMac body. Oh, I just found this in the press release. The new iMac does have Wi-Fi 6E now and Bluetooth 5.3, which was rumored. So it's got the latest Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity on the new iMac, which Apple just didn't mention it at all. I think that can actually be a big deal if you have one of the new Wi-Fi routers or something. For the iMac, similar to the lower-end M3 MacBook Pros, it is available to order right away. It starts at $12.99, just like the last MacBook Pro, and it's shipping out next week with availability on November 7th. Now, if you're looking for everything else that Apple announced at this event, like the new Pro Display XDR, the iMac Pro, or new iPads, I'm sorry to get your hopes up and excite you there because it didn't happen. Not here. Like I said, shortest Apple event, just like 33 minutes, which is insane. It was just new MacBooks, just the iMac and the new chips. My thoughts on it, pretty good, fun. It had a Halloween aesthetic, and honestly, it was a really good time. The set decoration was absolutely out of this world. And at the end of the day, it was fun, although with Apple moving the time and doing this at night and seemingly speeding through the first set of announcements, I thought there'd be more. I thought there was gonna be something special. And, sometimes there just isn't. But I honestly think long-term M3 will be special enough. This chip looks ridiculous. Let me know what, if anything, you're picking up. Let me know down below in the comments. And I'll catch up with you guys very, very soon with some more videos. Okay, specifically going on hands-on with the new MacBook Pros and stuff because I'm very excited to see these. Okay, I've been Sam. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.